What's going on, homies? Welcome to the Cracked Soccer Podcast, episode numero 5. Number 5.
Ole.
Number 5, episode number 5. I was out last week, but I am back this week. I was soaking up the sun in Miami. I had to say I couldn't meet you, Messi. I was on vacation. I had to give time to the family, so couldn't make the time to meet up with them. But anyways, my name is Angel El Capitan Reyes, joined by my amazing two co-hosts, Lopez El Chino and Fernando Fern Jimenez. Say what's up to the people, Fern.
What's up, guys? Welcome back for episode 5, week 5 of the MLS. Let's keep it rolling.
Chino, say what's good to the people.
Hey, what's going on, people?
You guys held it down last week, man. I thought the episode was great, man. You guys did a good job. How was it?
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
it wasn't bad.
Phenomenal. Great stuff, eh? I'm pumped, dude. I'm pumped for this week.
Rate.
What?
I said I feel like we need to change up the armband. There needs to be a vote.
Ooh. Hey, we got 3 armbands on this team, all right? We need everybody here. Yeah, dude, I'm pumped. I'm psyched for this week. Very awesome week last week for the MLS and just soccer in general. Lots of soccer going on, honestly. Not only the MLS, just soccer in the USA. A lot of games going on. Very, very pumped for this episode. But to start, we have to look at the leaderboard because things have changed possibly from my understanding. Why don't you go ahead and pull it up, Fernando, and kind of see what we're working with going into week 4 or 5 of the MLS.
Oh,
Bang, bang, bang. Shooters. PZ is technically up, but it is tied 23-23. I am right behind you guys with 22, and I did say that was going to happen. I did say first couple weeks, give me some time. Let me understand what's going on. Let me catch the flow. I'll probably catch up later in the season, but I am in last place. But Lopez, my guy, Fern is tied up with you, dude. What are you going to do?
Let's just say that I'm going to be 80% accurate this week with my picks. That's all I'm going to do.
I'll just follow you, so I can't go above and I can't go under anymore. So I'm just gonna keep following you from here on out.
That's one hell of a strategy. That would be hilarious. Lopez, all you gotta do is just pick Miami every time. That's obviously what's gonna get you, the kudos with Fernando. Actually, just go against Miami, and then he has to choose against it.
Man, after last week, I don't know if I can go against Miami, bro, but we'll talk about that.
There it is. Well, there we have it, fellas. 23-22. We got to get better at picking games, though. From my understanding, what did Lopez have correct this last week? Was it 4 correct picks?
So Lopez had 4 correct picks. You had 5, and I had 6. So it was literally just a couple game differences. And I feel like the thing that kept me over the top was the Inter Miami game at the end of the week. So, or else we probably would have been pretty even. So,
yeah, hell of a game.
You guys go against Messi. You should already know not to do that.
Calling us out, bro. That's all right, dude. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep rolling. The leaderboard is gonna change, I'm sure. We're very early into the season, so we'll just keep the talented picks rolling. Sweet boys, love the leaderboard. We're going to go right into the correct performances of the week of all of us, correct? I'm actually going to start off with Chino. I think Chino's digging and just itching to kind of share his correct performance, correct player of the week. Chino, take it away, man.
Got to give credit where credit is due. I'm going to look my man Fern in the eyes because my screen's over here and tell this man my crack pick of the week. I cannot deny him. I cannot hate. The man is coming fresh off the bench after several game hiatus, feeling refreshed and anew. Lionel Messi is indeed my crack player of the week.
Dang, man, why? What did like you said, he came off the bench. What did this man do? Did this guy score a freaking goal?
You guys know I am indeed an Atlanta United fan, and you guys, I believe did I pick Atlanta? I did pick Atlanta United last week. I couldn't go against the grain. Lionel Messi equalizing goal, just kind of leading the way for what was to come. Cannot hate. Defeating a very good Atlanta United team. Fern, they got their revenge, and I got to give it up to Lionel Messi.
Hey,
Brad Guzan had me a little bit worried for a minute. I'm not gonna lie, because my prediction could have been right. It could have been 6-1 if it wasn't for Brad Guzan. So,
ooh, he was the goalie for Atlanta, correct?
yeah.
Yeah, dude, it was a crazy game. Honestly, it was such a good game too, just to watch. Plus, how about, I mean, hats off to Apple with the whole Sunday night soccer thing and putting that game on Sunday night, like
Prime
perfect
time.
prime
Yes, sir.
time. I loved it. I mean, obviously, like, you know, you got the whole, you can kind of compare it to like the NFL, the whole Sunday night Sunday night football. You know, you get those really big matchups, really good games. Not always going to happen, right? Not always going to happen. But that game was worthy of that time slot, worthy of all the attention, worthy of all the hype. And damn, dude, Messi did show up when he needed to. But like you said, came off the bench. You guys mentioned this last week, man. Is he pulling a Christian McCaffrey? I think he might be a little bit injured and he's not telling nobody, but who the hell knows at this point, right?
Yeah,
Hey.
he did re-injure himself this past week, so he's missing Argentina's games this coming week. So it's not looking too good.
Fern, how does it feel knowing that it's Messi's last year playing soccer? You're witnessing it. Are you going to be able to go catch a game before the man retires?
I saw something on Instagram that popped up, was like, we're offering tickets to the LAFC, or like they have like somebody you could contact directly from LAFC to be able to get games to the game on the first week of April, whatever. I think it's on Wednesday or Thursday. And I was gonna buy the tickets, but I saw he's injured, and I'm not gonna spend $500 because they learned, because at the bottom it says we do not guarantee any players will attend the game. So,
Hey, they learned from Houston.
I don't think he's playing, honestly. So, so I'm just not gonna go. But hey, I might have to fly out to Miami and watch him this year. So I can't live my life without watching Messi play live once.
Fair enough. Solid pick, Chino. Any pour one out? Any game that stood out? Anything else that stood out for you from the week? If not, all good.
I won't pour one out I kind of want to pour one out for my Seattle Sounders. I had a lot of hype. If you guys heard me last week, I guess you could call me Krispy Kreme because I was glazing upon the Seattle Sounders. Unfortunate, pouring one out for them, but we're going to move on to next week and this week, and we'll see what happens. So,
hey, pour one out, but you pick St. Louis to win, so win-win.
Hey, man, gotta love them. Gotta love the Seattle Sounders, man. If I wasn't a freaking RSL fan, first I'd be an FC Austin fan because of their uniforms and their fucking environment. Sorry, family-friendly podcast here, and their bleeping environment. But then the Seattle Sounders have my heart. So, and not even Atlanta United is cool, but I can't really call myself a fan. So, love them.
All good.
Love them.
The funny thing about that game, Ray, is I don't know if you remember from last week, but me and Lopez decided to go for St. Louis just because my last week player of the week was Roman Berkey for St. Louis. So we're like, oh, he popped off last week. He's going to stop Seattle from scoring this week. And he broke his hand on Friday, and I didn't even realize. So he didn't even play Saturday, but they still won. So
damn,
and it was like St. Louis's defense was what came in clutch. Like their defense has been elite. It's been really, really sweet to see. So definitely, but yeah. Anyway, go on. You guys take it away from here. I'm
solid. All right, Fern, take it away, man. Give me your crack performances.
Okay, my crack performance of the week was Lamine Yamal. Just kidding.
Okay.
No, it was.
He did play well.
Yeah, it's another youngster, Diego Luna for Real Salt Lake. I just feel like his goal was like just kind of representative of the type of player that he is, with that effort that he puts in to win the ball back, to pass it off to his teammate, to be able to get back to a position to be able to score the goal, and then giving him the go-ahead goal at the towards the end of the first half, and then that's just how the game ends. So I think that's why he's my player of the week. I just love seeing players that perform super well, not just, with the fancy stuff, but you just see them like running back and forth and trying to like play every ball and everything like that. I really enjoy watching players play like that. So he's my player of the week.
Yeah.
You never know. Dude, like it was the mask. The power of the mask.
Yeah, dude, no joke. He was who was like a LeBron? Isn't LeBron a big like mask player? Like just turns it on.
They did him so dirty in the RSL graphic though, because my wife was like,
did?
What's on his face? What is he wearing?"
Dang, dude. No, solid for sure. He definitely is a tough player. I think I mentioned it too, week 1. The guy, you're gonna hear about him. You're gonna see him perform at a very high level for Real Salt Lake. And the thing too, I think you mentioned this. He moves well without the ball, but he's also just hungry, right? He wants to win. If you watch that game, like any sort of mistake, anything that's really not going the way that it should be going, he makes it known, right? And he's younger than probably most of the players on that team, and he's definitely kind of that leader, that number 10, where he's just expecting the team to play a lot better. He's expecting them to be where they need to be, to just elevate their game in general, right? So yeah, solid with Diego Luna. He's solid.
Can I also add that because of how he's been performing on RSL, it's earned him a call up to the U.S. men's national team for the upcoming CONCACAF Nations League finals. So the man's showing out and he's getting rewarded for it. So that's really cool to see. So great pick, Fern.
Yeah, it's nice seeing RSL players be called up to the national team, because I think the last one I can remember was Beckerman, and even then it was kind of towards the end of his career. And this guy's young, so I hope he sticks around, because I feel like a lot of the good MLS young players kind of, everybody has a dream of going to play out in Europe. So hopefully he stays at RSL and he gets us another title, but we'll see how it goes. If he leaves and goes on to bigger pastures like a Barcelona or something like that, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, for sure. Or hopefully even if he just doesn't even like leave the US, like hopefully he just sticks with RSL and he doesn't go to a bigger market like in Los Angeles, New York, Miami type deal. So, pretty solid. But a good pick. Any games, any pour one out for you from last week?
I did want to put this one, but I don't know if this was yours as well, so I hope I'm not stealing it. But it was
Go for it, dude.
San Jose Earthquakes was my pour one out. Just because they wanted that win. They did not want that second loss in a row, and Colorado Rapids, the goalie did not want to give them that win. So that's my pour one out.
Yeah, no, for sure. It wasn't my pour one out, but I will definitely touch on them during this little segment here. But yeah, dude, solid choices right there. Going into my crack performances, my top game is obviously going to be the Atlanta versus Miami. We mentioned this Sunday night soccer, prime time, awesome game, 2-1 in an electric Mercedes-Benz stadium. I don't remember what the percentage was in terms of attendance for the game. I'm sure it was high. I'm sure it had to have been almost full capacity, because the game, just from looking at it from on TV, it looked very full. It looked very exciting, and obviously you had plenty of goals. You had Messi, and you just had it all at that game. So I'm going to give it to Atlanta and Miami for that game. Sunday night soccer picked. For the player, I'm going to go kind of with what you were mentioning with San Jose and Colorado. I'm going to go with Zach Steffen, which is the goalie for Colorado. There were 27 shots that San Jose had against Colorado. 11 or so on target. The guy had like 10 saves. Crazy, right? I did mention this at the beginning. I have San Jose. They're a favorite of mine. They have the firepower, right? They have it up top. The guys can shoot. They can create chances. But you need to score. At the end of the day, you need to score goals, right? And this goalie just shut them down, bro. Zach Steffen, hats off to you, bro. Hella saves. You guys kept, the team obviously, ahead. So just hats off to the guy. He just played his ass off. Way to go.
I don't know how they lost this game. They had 66% of the possession. Like
exactly.
You said, 27 total shots, 11 on target. And not only that, Colorado had 189 passes the entire game, and San Jose had 438.
Yeah. I picked San Jose for a reason. They're a great team, but I think not only this, but going into just this week, all of the games from last week, at the end of the day, this season, this tournament, the MLS doesn't give a shit about what you did last year. It's a brand new season. You can make as many transfers as you want. You can have whoever you want on the team. If you can't score goals and you can't get ahead of these teams, you're done. You ain't going to win. You lost to Colorado. I mean, no offense, Colorado, but like San Jose's in California. California is, it's very, very popular in terms of, the soccer community. So yeah, I mean, they lost at the end of the day. 2 losses, right? Two losses in a row. It is what it is. They're not going to go perfect. I know they're not going to go perfect, but damn, bro. All you needed was another goal or two. Hell, you could have just had one more. You probably would have won the game because I don't think Colorado scored the last goal until towards the end of the game. So, but anyways, Zach Steffen, hats off to you, bro. Cracked player of my week. And then I'm going to pour one out, and I didn't even do this. Dang it. Cracking one open for him. Bang, bang. Crispy. Gonna pour one out, though, and I'm sure you guys will agree. I got to pour one out for LAFC or LA Galaxy. Dude, we called it at the beginning that it's like it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you did last season. Bro, they haven't won a game. I'm starting to have my doubts. I don't know if it's the fact that they don't have Ricky Puig or what. Gabriel Peck looks like the only guy that's playing on that team right now because he's creating chances, he's taking shots, he's doing what he's got to do. But they haven't not won a game. What's going on? Trouble in LA.
Yeah, it's not.
Clip this. They will figure it out.
Yeah,
they will figure it out.
What's
when?
crazy is they won the.
When will they figure it out?
Give them. Sorry, Fern, I'm talking over you.
You're good. You're good. Go for it.
Give them one more game, and they will figure it out. Clip this. Clip this. All right.
The next one. The next one. The next one. I don't know. I mean, maybe they will. Who knows? I'm not sure. Do we remember when Ricky Puig is coming back?
They said sometime halfway through the season. It says mid-August.
Yeah. See, I mean, that's far, bro. I mean, August. It's one of those. So, for those of you that don't know, we also enjoy football, American football. Okay, we've had a family-ish or friend fantasy football league. Last year, not this previous season, but the season before this, our friend Chino here won the league. He did the impossible. He won. This last season, what were you, 0-5, 0-6 going in?
Yeah, I think it was pretty. It was like 0-7. It was bad. It was horrible.
How bad? So this is where I'm getting at. When can they pick it up to where it's not too late? If you have no wins under your belt and then come August you pick it up, can you really come back in August when really the season's over in about, October-ish?
It will be before August. It will be before August. Mark my words. Give them until the end of. Let's be more realistic than one game, all right? Because then I don't want to be called out as the next one or the next one or the next one. Give them until the end of April, and they will have figured it out, and LAFC will end up positive.
Okay.
They probably just need to sign Dennis Houston, and they'll have
it.
Inside joke, fellas. Inside joke, people. Oh, man. That's a good one. Yeah, I mean, who knows? We'll see. If they do end up picking it up and, they kind of get going, good for them. But as of right now, pulling one out for your LA Galaxy, y'all really just cheeks right now. You got to figure it out. All righty. That is it for the crack performances of the week. Solid picks all around. Going into the rest of the episode, we are going to look at some of the top headlines that kind of were from last week. Lots, like we mentioned, lots has happened. Lots has been going on. The MLS All Star Game has been announced. There's been a lot of MLS transfer talk. Obviously, the CONCACAF Champions Cup is going on. The Nations Cup is going on. As we speak, as we're recording this, I believe Mexico is playing Canada in the semifinal. And about 30 minutes ago, the U.S. has lost to Panama in the Nations Cup.
Vamos y arriba Mexico, baby, because they are up against Canada. First minute goal, bro.
No way. Who scored?
Raul Jimenez, Bernie's cousin.
Hey, he's been picking it up. I think he scored like a couple weeks ago in the Premier League too.
Yeah, no, he's been playing pretty good, which is good. Outside of MLS, it's good to see him back playing because after that injury to the head. He wasn't the same after, but it's nice to see he's kind of getting his confidence back and everything, because that helps Mexico. And
Yeah, solid. Yeah, so obviously we'll just kind of keep an eye on that as well. The U.S. Open Cup as well is kind of going on. I don't know if you guys have been kind of hearing about that. We can definitely go into that too. I think to start the headline I'm a little bit more interested in, just kind of from this previous week, is the MLS transfer talk. I think we've mentioned this a couple times throughout some of the episodes, but obviously bringing in outside talent, outside players like Lionel Messi, like others, is obviously going to be very beneficial to the league, just because you have bigger names. You can, sell out stadiums more, sell more jerseys. But then people want to go to the games, right? The reason I wanted to bring it up was because I think, what was it? A couple weeks ago, there was some noise going around about Kevin De Bruyne possibly coming to the MLS. Now, Chino, do you know who Kevin De Bruyne is?
Gonna keep it 100. I have no idea.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. The guy is a very good player. He plays for Manchester City, possibly one of the one of the better.
he's
Like,
definitely
center
been
mids.
one of the best midfielders in football for a while. He's a bit on the decline right now, but I mean,
he's a little older.
So
yeah, he's a little. I think he's in his 30s, probably like early 30s. But he's good nonetheless. He's still good. I believe there was some form of, something going on at Manchester City that kind of maybe upset him in terms of decision making. So he's kind of been looking at kind of going elsewhere. I believe he was linked into also possibly going to the Saudi League and joining your boy Cristiano Ronaldo, which Fern is a big fan of. But he's also been linked to the MLS. And from a story that I looked at from 442, it looks like it could be a possibility this summer, right, for him to come this summer. And I think the main or the primary target for him to land is going to be in San Diego, which would be nuts. But just kind of looking into some of those, you got Kevin De Bruyne, you got some other guys like Raheem Sterling, you got Jamie Vardy, you've got Gundogan, you've got a couple others, Son, possibly looking into coming into the MLS. What are you guys thinking in terms of the MLS kind of looking at some of these players, targeting them, and then wanting to bring them into the MLS? Do you think that's a good thing, a bad thing for the league? What do you guys think?
I mean, I'm always for bringing players to the league. I feel like it brings more eyes, as much as like people outside of the U.S. want to rag on the MLS being a retirement league and whatnot. It helps grow the game out here. There's a lot of kids that, want to be able to see these players they grew up watching and stuff like that. And it helps bring more of a name to different teams around the world. Because I was thinking, if he were to come to the MLS, I would maybe think he'd join New York City FC, because I don't know if you guys are aware, but New York City FC is pretty much like a parent club of Manchester City. They're owned by the same people, so it makes it a bit easier for them to just kind of transfer people over. Kind of like, I can't think of his name right now, but he plays for the New York Red Bulls, and he came from RB Leipzig, which is another Red Bull team in Germany. So I think it makes it easier. But like I said, I'm never against good players coming to the U.S. and kind of elevating the game of football, because at the end of the day, no matter how old you are, you still have that touch. You still have that scoring finish. Just like, look at Suarez. Like, he doesn't have like the pace or whatever it is, but if he gets that shot, that one opening, he's going to score, because he just has that ability to. And I just feel like it'll be great to see somebody like that here.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree. What do you think, Chino?
Well,
even though you don't know who the hell these people are, I mean,
no, but like still at the same time, right? Like, I again remind the viewers, I am bringing the novice view. Haven't followed like European leagues. I haven't followed outside of the World Cup. That's when I become really invested in soccer and become caught up with the players and like who exists in the world. But so doing this podcast has been a lot of fun and learning a little bit more. But two main points and two main thoughts that I have regarding this. A, just hearing how excited you guys have become about it, right? Like knowing that these players are coming or have the possibility to come from these European leagues to the MLS is huge. I knew who Zlatan Ibrahimovic was, right? And I was pumped to go watch him play with you guys when he came and played against Real Salt Lake here, and that was sick. So I agree with Fern. Like a lot of these kids and a lot of these people who are familiar with these players are going to be turning their eyes more towards the MLS. So I think that that's a genius move by the MLS to be acquiring a lot of this talent. And secondly, yeah, just continually building out that fan base. These kids who are fans of soccer are going to typically be fans of those European leagues where these all-star players are a part of. And as more and more of them start finding their way into the MLS, I feel like the MLS is going to continue to grow their fan base. So very smart move. I think it's a good thing overall for the game here in the States. But interested to hear more of your thoughts, Reyes or Capitan.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you guys. I think it's a good thing. I think the main question for these transfers will be kind of what we've mentioned jokingly on the episodes of the retirement league, right? There's going to be people where they see, Kevin De Bruyne, they see Gundogan, they see Messi, they see, hell, if Cristiano Ronaldo comes, like they're going to think of it as, dang, they're going to retire. They're going to play here a year, maybe 2, maybe even 3, and then you're just going to call it quits and have some sort of bag at the end of this. And it's just like you said, a retirement league, right? So how do you kind of change that view, right, of like saying, hey, this is a retirement league? I think this is a very early stage of the MLS making that pivot, making that turn of, call me crazy, but we could potentially in the future, it might not be MLS, it could be some other league that just comes out of the blue from in the US that, kind of conglomerates with some other leagues potentially. I don't know. We could rival the Premier League, La Liga, yeah. We have the people to do it. We have the audience that can obviously eat this up, and very much like you said with the upcoming age groups, just eat this up. They want more. They're watching European leagues. They're watching them come over here. They're going to be way more into soccer. They're going to start playing more. They're going to want their kids to play XYZ, right? So I think that's kind of how this can pivot and be better and not be seen as a retirement league. But I think that's, like I said, that's the main question as to how do we not make it that.
You know what the dream would be? That some of these younger players who are in these European leagues are like, damn, I've always had a dream to play with Messi. So then they're going to go and have no option. If they want to play with Messi, if they want to play with some of these legends, they're going to have no option but to come to the MLS, right? But again, money talks. I think that they can make far more money outside of the States than they could in the MLS, but one can dream. And I think it is like like you said, Reyes. I have to 100% agree. It's in the early stages. Only time will tell how this will develop. But I think the MLS is making all of the right moves right now, and they found their niche and what's going to work for them to build themselves up. So
yeah, and it'll definitely start once. Kind of like what I was saying with Diego Luna is like trying to keep those players and make them stars, like put them out there. He's getting call ups to the national team. If he plays in the World Cup, he does something crazy, like that'll put more eyes on him. And then it makes it hard with the spending cap to be able to compete with a lot of these teams. But I do like the spending cap just because it keeps the league competitive and it doesn't stop like small market teams from being able to compete with the bigger markets. But it's definitely going to start. I feel like kind of what Lopez was saying was you have to, like, if you want to play with Messi, you got to come here. And it's kind of like a lot of these young players that are here now are like, I'm getting to play with Messi. Like Kramaski was also called up for like the U20 for the US team. And you know what? Like it helps a lot of these people kind of see, like, I feel like Inter Miami has become a lot better team since Messi joined, and that's very obvious with the stats and everything. And maybe Kevin De Bruyne comes in and does the same thing. Like he's a midfielder, he can help like with the passing, kind of elevate the game here with being able to like not just having like coaches where they're telling you what to do. You have like a player that has that experience, that has like those skills to be able to show everybody else around him, and then just keeping those star young players that we have, like Davies left to Bayern when he was young, and he's been a star out there. And some research I did a couple weeks ago, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but there's been a lot more transfers from like European clubs bringing Americans or MLS players to their teams. So yeah, I feel like keeping those young players and developing everybody will help build the league up, because I feel like that's usually how it works. Is you see these clubs like build stars. Like I said earlier, like Barcelona, Lamine Yamal is like one of the biggest players in the world right now, and he's only 17 years old. So
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is a good pivot to kind of the next subject that I was kind of looking into. Obviously, we want to kind of build the game out here. We want to build not just the players, but the teams, just kind of the culture of soccer out here into the United States. Recently, the U.S. Open Cup just started. I think it was a couple days ago. The first couple kind of rounds kind of started going on. Do you guys know what the U.S. Open Cup is? Just out of curiosity, you can tell me no, but have you guys heard of it at all?
yeah, heard about it last year because the MLS basically was saying we don't want to be a part of it, just because they don't want to congest their schedule more, because
Mm-hmm.
they're playing against lower tier teams, and they don't want to do that, I guess. But I don't really know too much about it, honestly.
Okay. I take Chino, you don't know what the hell we're talking about.
Absolutely not.
All good, bro. Basically, it is kind of like an in-season tournament, right? Within the MLS. It is, I believe, it's the oldest kind of cup/tournament that we do have here in the U.S. It's called the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Lamar Hunt, I don't know if you guys know, he's kind of like an early, you know, I guess, figure that kind of pushed soccer within the United States. The guy, I believe, owned like Sporting Kansas City. He, had a owner. I think he owned a little bit of the Kansas City Chiefs. And then at the end of the day, before he passed away, I believe he owned like 3 MLS teams or something like that. So the guy was a big soccer dude, right?
It was the Columbus Crew, FC Dallas, and yeah, the Kansas City Wizards at the time.
Oh yeah, exactly. So yeah, the guy kind of brought soccer along within the states, and essentially, like you said, Fern, a lot of the MLS teams don't really want to participate in this one, just because it is more congestion within the regular season. They probably want to, focus more on the MLS Cup. They want to focus on the CONCACAF, things like that, right? I think it's a cool tournament in general because, like you said, it does bring a lot of that lower tier teams, like within the USL, NISA, and a lot of these other leagues, right? And I mean, some of these teams got really nobody you probably ever heard of, and they're just competing, right? They're hungry and they want to like get after it. Like I said, it just recently started, only a couple days in. So still very early stages. The team that won it last year was LAFC, and they actually decided not to participate this season, as well as like a San Diego FC. So it could be a bit of an interesting season this year within the U.S. Open Cup. But the reason I wanted to bring it up was because, like you said, we want to build kind of soccer within the States. And this is kind of one of those tournaments that kind of exemplifies that, when it brings these lower tier teams into the higher level competitions. And this also kind of brings up the whole idea of the USL and how it can potentially rival the MLS, right? I don't know if you guys also heard, right? We talked about this a couple weeks ago, that the USL now has confirmed that they're going to have like a promotion relegation going into like the 2027 season or something like that. And I think that just kind of grows not just the fan base, but it also just grows the sport, because now more teams are kind of, competing. There's more reason to, be in the top 3, 4, 5 and not be in the bottom 3, 4, 5 type of a thing. And I just think that whole idea of like these tournaments, La Liga has the Copa del Rey, they have a couple other ones, and the Premier League also has like their own, FA Cup and a couple others, in season tournaments. The US has to do that, right? So what do you guys think in terms of like having these play-in tournaments, bringing the lower tier teams up, to the MLS, and then maybe even like, could it rival something like the CONCACAF Champions Cup? Could it rival just the MLS in general with like the USL, and bringing these lower tier teams to compete with the MLS? Like, how do you guys see this style of play within the United States?
I honestly don't mind it just because I like seeing that competition because those like smaller teams can create like a bit more revenue with the MLS teams coming in with their big players and whatnot. And then they're always gonna try their hardest because they want to prove themselves and be like, you know what, like we can beat these teams as well. Because in the like you were mentioning out in the Europe in England, they have, I can't think of their cup names right now, but you always see like, oh, the fourth tier English team just beat a Premier League club. Like that's so crazy, like stuff like that. So I don't mind it. I mean, I understand the players; it's a lot on them and everything. But I don't mind it. I feel like it's good competition, and with the USL bringing in the relegation, that was one of the things I was thinking about the MLS could do. It's a bit difficult because then you have to like bring kind of a team that possibly stadium isn't up to par. Like in the Premier League, I can't think of their name right now, but there was this one team that like came up to the Premier League for the first time ever, but their stadium was not up to par. They had to spend like millions of dollars to be able to get it up to par and pray that they stay up, or else the millions of dollars that they spent
Yeah.
is wasted. So
Yeah, I think it was like Luton.
yeah, Luton.
Luton.
Yeah, that's what it was. And so, yeah, I mean, it's nice to see because once the season is ending, those games become very important. They're for them, it's like live or die. Like we're gonna lose millions of dollars if we do not win these games because we're gonna go down to a lower tier. So
No, and that was some good context that Fern gave me because, like, understanding that, oh yeah, like I can make that connection that that's how it's done in the European leagues. Of these teams who are in these lower leagues can come up and play them. But I also think, just like I assume it's done in the European leagues, it's a necessary evil with all these other tournaments going on in the MLS right here, the CONCACAF Champions Cup, the Leagues Cup, etc. That's going to take precedence, and a lot of these teams are going to focus their energy on that, which does give those other teams the opportunity to shine. So I don't see any harm in it. Other like the European leagues are doing it, and I think the MLS is trying to like model a lot of what the European leagues are doing to kind of build up their own prestige.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it is crazy. If you guys haven't kind of looked into it, I would recommend it. A lot of these teams are very interesting. Honestly, I think there's a lot of these teams that probably have so much nicer logos, so much nicer jerseys, and they just look freaking sick. Like there's a team called like the Menace or something. Um, dope, dope like name, dope logo and everything. I think it's super cool. I do believe it's a very important tournament. And I think you guys, like you guys mentioned, right, the whole USL thing. And right now we're talking about the MLS. Right now we're talking about the MLS because it's the number one league in the United States, right? But I don't even know in 3 or 4 years from now, I want to continue to do this. Will we continue to call it the MLS, or is it going to be a changing of the guard, and we're going to be talking about the USL because they're kind of looking at the promotion relegation already, where the MLS kind of has said that they kind of might look into it, but they haven't done anything about it, right? So it's like, yes, the MLS is doing what it needs to be doing right now with like bringing the big talent in, kind of like making sure that they're keeping the fans happy, but do they also need to be kind of looking at what the USL is doing and say, hey, we probably should look into promotion relegation because USL probably doesn't have near as much money as the MLS does. So like, how do we go forward where the MLS stays potentially at the top, or maybe the USL comes to the top, or maybe they just come together and say, this is this, this is this, this is this. I don't know.
It happened with the NFL, didn't it? There used to be two different things, and it united into one. Got to look at my NFL history, but I'm pretty sure that's how it happened.
and they
Yeah, I
could
think so.
and they could always like, so when I was doing my research for the stuff with how many tickets were being sold and the attendance wise, the MLS had 30 teams and the Premier League had 20, the Bundesliga had 18. I mean, if they ever decide to, they could kind of like make it a bit like hardcore per se, where they're like, you know what? Only 20 teams are staying in the league. The other 10 teams are dropping down, and we're going to add another 8 teams to that league, so there's like an even amount, or just keep it at 10, however they decide. But that could be like an option, because there's so many teams currently in the league that they could just be like, we're gonna divide into two this season for finishes bottom 5 in the East and bottom 5 in the West. You guys drop down, and then you got to fight your way back up to be able to come to the MLS and join in on the other competitions that you need to be able, like, you can't be in the Champions Cup if you drop down like top 5, whatever, and stuff like that. Like, that's one way they could do it, to kind of not play as many games too, because then you don't have to play against 10 other teams or 5 other teams. So I guess that's one way they could do it, to start off the relegation. That way they don't have to find more teams. They can just drop a certain amount of teams that they want to down.
Right. I mean, they already have so many teams, so why not just kind of keep it within the MLS, right? Yeah, no, all good points. I think the landscape of what the MLS is right now and what soccer is in the US right now is definitely going to change within the next 3-4 years. I'm excited as hell to see kind of what happens. I do think something that's kind of interesting is like the way that they're kind of starting to bring in teams from other, like our neighboring countries, right? So we obviously have 3 Canadian teams in the MLS. And then another thing that kind of to transition into the next point, the All Star Game this year. So typically the All Star Game is, it's like the top MLS players, and I think a couple of years ago they did they played a team like a European team in the City A, something like that. And it's kind of changed. The iterations have kind of changed throughout the years. But this year it's going to be the MLS All Stars versus the Liga MX All Stars, which is the Mexican National Soccer League. And so the reason to kind of transition in that, obviously you can kind of bring in, Liga MX, you can bring in the Canadian Premier League and kind of just start playing games like that, right? And kind of maybe even doing a promotion relegation like that if you wanted to. But to go into the All-Star Game, I wanted to bring it up and just kind of show you, I think it will be played in Austin this year, and I would be hyped. Honestly, I would be very interested in seeing kind of what tickets look like for this game, because I think it could be very USA versus Mexico-y. And I'm curious what you guys are thinking about this one, right? So Lopez, Chino, have you ever watched an All-Star game in general? Just like, because I do believe, so the NFL does it, right? The All-Star game, the NBA does like an All-Star game. Do you guys at all watch those games?
I watched the NFL ones back in the day, and that shit was boring.
Yeah. Fern, have you dove into those?
Honestly, most of the time, really, most of the time, if I do watch something like that, it's either on a different platform aside from the full game. Like, either I just watch highlights of like the skills challenge or whatever they're doing. I might watch it this year just because it is the MLS versus the Liga MX. So yeah, and then I'll watch any soccer right now. I'm addicted.
Yeah. No, exactly. So the reason I wanted to bring it up is because, like I said, a lot of times you don't kind of get that, that itch to watch an All-Star game, because at the end of the day, yes, like they're putting on somewhat of a show. They're going to do fancy little skills challenges here and there. And then they're in the game. It's just going to be like, hey, let's just score a ton of points. Let's really not play defense and just kind of see how many points we can score and who wins. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. But I think the MLS is maybe up to something with this one, because it is the MLS versus Liga MX All Stars. To me, it almost feels like it could be USA versus Mexico 2.0, in a sense where the MLS is going to want to prove, the MLS All Stars, they're going to want to prove that they can be better than Liga MX. And the last thing, I think we've mentioned this before, the last thing Liga MX wants to do is lose any sort of game against the MLS. And I think that being in Austin, I get it, it's in Texas. It's probably going to be primarily Liga MX fans or Mexico fans, but this could get spicy, bro.
Yeah, no, this should go pretty well. I don't watch Liga MX at all. Their format is so weird to me. I don't understand how there's 2 champions in 1 year, kind of stuff like that. So I don't watch it at all. But it should be fun to watch, because whenever there's that Liga MX MLS type rivalry, then the games are good. Even though it's an all-star game, they're not going to want to lose something like this. this should hopefully make it a bit more, you don't want it to be like too serious because it's kind of like an all-star. You're wanting to like take a break or whatever, but it should make it a bit more interesting with it being a kind of a rivalry type thing where it's not just some European team with their big players coming in. It's something that actually matters to the players.
I'll watch it for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, no.
They better be scoring goals in 5 minutes.
There better be 5 goals in 5 minutes. I'm expecting a goal a minute, baby.
There you go. No defense whatsoever. Either way, I think it'll be a fun game. Like you said, it's an all-star game, so it could be nothing. I could be hyping it up for nothing, but I'm hoping USA versus Mexico 2.0 type of a deal. But we'll see.
Sure.
Last little thing too, fellas, on this one, the CONCACAF Champions Cup ramping up very, very close to the end. Quarterfinals. Chino, have you been keeping up with the Champions Cup?
Outside of the bracket update you gave me, no.
All good. It's in the quarterfinals. There's basically what? 2, 4, 6, 8.
8 teams, yeah.
Yeah, 8 teams. And then okay, so we're in the home stretch, essentially, right? And this is something I brought up to you guys, I think, via text, just kind of like, while I was out. This, to me, sounds like there's some little levers being pulled behind the scenes to sell some more tickets here. And the reason I say that is because once I pull this up here,
it's corruption versus corruption. The MLS's favorite team versus Liga MX's favorite team.
Exactly. Well, I mean, say what you want, but obviously there's some very good teams here. LAFC, Miami, Vancouver, Pumas, America, Cruz Azul, Tigres, Galaxy, very popular teams, right? Respectfully, they're all very, very talented teams. But I think the way that they've done this is very interesting because you got Miami on one side and America on the other side. Like Fern said, Miami is the biggest team out here in the MLS right now in the USA. America has and probably will continue to be the biggest team out in Mexico for a very long time. If they go to the final, this will probably be completely sold out and one of the most watched, maybe even the most watched game in the CONCACAF Champions Cup history. Do you guys think I'm crazy? Because I don't think I'm crazy in thinking that it will be Miami America in the final.
I can definitely see it. I don't want to say Miami has an easier route. I can't. Both routes seem pretty difficult because Tigres is a really good team. Cruz Azul is a really good team. The LA Galaxy has not been very good this year. LAFC is a really good team, so I'm really excited for the LAFC Inter Miami matchup. And as we were talking about pre-show, Vancouver is undefeated in the MLS, so they could do pretty good. And the Pumas is also a pretty decent team, so we'll see how it goes.
Exactly.
But if it's Inter Miami and America in the final, I wouldn't be mad. I'd love to see who the refs love to choose. It's Messi or America. So
it's whoever's got the biggest pockets at the end of the day, right? That's who they favor. Chino, you're familiar with Liga MX, bro. Do you think it's a very big possibility? What do you think?
Bro, it's just so disappointing, and I hate to say it, and I really do believe it, that at the end of the day, money talks. And there's more for them to gain than for them to lose in this game. And I apologize for my dog about to get dinner. There is just so much for them to gain. I would be shocked if it isn't Inter Miami versus America. Regardless of what's going on, El Capitan, like he said, no disrespect to the teams and their talent. They're both very talented. And could they make it to the finals on their own? Absolutely. But could some strings be pulled in their favor? Perhaps. I don't know. But again, I don't want to assume. I don't want to take anything away from these teams. I wouldn't be shocked if that's what we end up seeing in the finals.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to wait and see. I think looking at this, I'm giving the semifinals to Miami and Vancouver, with Miami coming up top and going in the final. And then I'm going to give it to America Tigres, obviously with America coming out on top and then going to the final. We'll see. We'll see if that's what happens. Like you guys all said, they're all very good teams. But if I'm looking at this, I'm watching a final with Miami versus America. So we'll just have to wait and see, kind of see what happens with these with this cup. I think it'll be a very fun one to watch if it is Miami America.
needs to win this. They need to win this and the MLS Cup. So.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do. Sick. I think we've gone through a lot of different topics, obviously quite a few different things. I think we'll end this off. We're almost coming up to an hour here with our picks for this upcoming week. Let me pull this up here really quick. And something interesting too, we were discussing this pre-show. There is no Sunday night soccer this upcoming week. It's kind of a weird thing here.
There's one game, actually.
Well, it's on Sunday, but it's not at night. It's at 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah, 2 in the afternoon.
4 in the afternoon Eastern. So it's kind of like strange, I think, to be honest with you. But from our understanding, I believe it's Miami and New England Revolution that are going to have somewhat of a bye this week. I believe we also looked into it, and it could be potentially linked to the whole international play. So we get it. You know, players need the rest. They need to go play internationally if they're being called up. So we're missing out on one game due to the international breaks.
Lopez might not know what the international break is, and it's basically just a lot of the international teams right now are playing, and in Europe, what they do is they kind of take a break from their league games so the players can go out and play for their nations for like I think just like a week. They play like 2 games in 1 week and then they come back and play the league games again, but the MLS doesn't do that.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, everybody does things a little bit differently. I feel like the MLS and Liga MX kind of don't give a shit about the break, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that is essentially what it is. We can always get into that too in a different episode. But going into it, let's just go ahead and get started with our picks here, fellas. I think a lot of very even matchups for this week, but Chino, give me your pick for FC Cincinnati versus Atlanta United. First weekend.
Oh, gotta finish it, Fern. Yeah, no, but honestly, I don't know what it's pulling me. I do know it's pulling me to FC Cincinnati, but I could see a draw. I could foresee a draw, but I definitely am going to go with FC Cincinnati. Got to trust my gut on this one and go against the grain, surprisingly. Got to get a couple of dubs over the boys, but we'll see who you guys pick. Passing it over to El Capitan.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it's very evenly matchups. I'm going to go with Atlanta United. They look good against Miami. I think they want some revenge here. They might even just, come out swinging against FC Cincinnati. Cincinnati, very good team, obviously, but I'm going to give it to Atlanta for this upcoming week. Vern?
I have to go Cincinnati because Lopez picked it. Just kidding.
No way you
No, I'm just kidding. No, I do like the way Atlanta United played against Inter Miami. I'm gonna go Atlanta United.
All right, dope. Atlanta, Cincinnati. Chino, if you keep getting these picks right, geez. Okay, on to the next game, LA Galaxy versus Minnesota United. Like I said, I poured one out for LA Galaxy. I don't know what you guys need to do, but you guys need to figure it out. I've given y'all so many chances, and this could be the week that it bites me in the butt. I don't know, but I don't care. Give me Minnesota.
I just realized I didn't give my game. Did I give my game of the week? I didn't give my game of the week. I just did my player, but it was Minnesota United versus whoever they played. But with the way Minnesota United played last week, I feel like they should be able to plow right through LA Galaxy. I'm going to go with Minnesota United. Oh, yeah, they played Sporting Kansas City. Kansas City came in, I think, in like the 60th minute and scored like 3 goals to tie it. So I feel like Minnesota United played pretty well, and they just kind of fell apart in the end. And I don't believe the LA Galaxy has what Sporting Kansas City had in them. So I'm going to go with Minnesota United.
There you go. Chino, round us out.
Got a question for you. Is it the end of April? Is it the end of April?
No.
It's no.
All right, then give me Minnesota United then.
Okay, I see what you did there. Okay, there we go. Minnesota all around. We'll see how this one goes. If we all get bit in the butt for this one just because we went against them, I'm going to laugh. It's going to be a laughing matter in that case. Okay, next game, San Jose versus Charlotte. Fern, give me your pick on this one.
This is kind of hard because San Jose's kind of on a losing streak right now. They do. I don't know. It's hard because, like you said, they had so many shots on goal. I'm gonna stick with San Jose this week. I am gonna stick with San Jose just because they did have those shots, and I feel like Charlotte won't get as lucky as the other team did last week. So yeah, I'm gonna go San Jose.
Chino.
I'm a certified Fern hater. Give me Charlotte FC.
There you go, dude. You're just going against it. I love it. Okay, there you go. I'm gonna go with San Jose once again. I like you guys said, San Jose is a very good team, but I think the thing that we're kind of missing here is if you don't let Zaha do anything with Charlotte, Charlotte will lose. Charlotte does not know always what to do without Zaha because he creates so many opportunities and he can pull so many players. So if they can isolate Zaha, make sure he doesn't really make any plays, I think San Jose can win this one. They have the firepower. They should do it. So I'm going to go with San Jose. On to the next one. We got Columbus Crew, New York City. You know, two very, very notorious teams here. I think this could really go either way, honestly. But you know what? I'm just going to go into who's home here. Lower.com field. Where is that?
Click on it.
It is in Columbus, Ohio. So home team advantage. That's what I'm going to go with. Give me Columbus.
I'm
Chino,
also
what do you
going
think?
Columbus Crew.
Okay, nice.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Is your name Chino? No, it may be in Columbus. Give me NYCFC, por favor. You guys, I'm telling you, I'm gonna have an 80% accuracy rating this week, and
Dang, that'd be high, bro. I mean, if you do, congrats. But okay, Columbus, New York. That is what it is. Going into the next one, New York Red Bulls versus Toronto FC. I think I know who you guys are going to pick, but Chino, who do you got?
I just picked the New York team. Got to go with the New York Red Bulls. Give it to me, baby.
Okay. Fern?
Yeah, I'm going to also go with the Red Bulls. He's not very good.
Talking about teams that haven't won, bro. Like, I'm a little disappointed. Don't get me wrong. I want Toronto to win. I've been betting on them to win a couple of times. New York Red Bulls for the win this game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously very, very surprised. I think you guys and the reason I didn't say anything was because I figured you guys were going to pick Toronto because you guys, I believe both of you guys had them kind of as your potential, good pick this upcoming season.
I gave up on them last week.
Yeah, not the best showing here. I will say they looked the best against Chicago. Yeah. They didn't look terrible. I'll give them that.
They made Orlando look good, so that's when I gave up on them.
Yeah, so kind of interesting there. New York Red Bulls, obviously a very strong team. I don't think they can lose against Toronto unless it is in Canada. Sports Illustrated, probably not in Canada. Yeah, it's in New Jersey. So I'm gonna go with New York Red Bulls as well. New York Red Bulls are around here. Going into the next one, Orlando City versus DC United. What do you think, your Fern, on this game?
I'm gonna go with DC United. I just like the way they've been playing, and I can't see them losing this week. They could possibly draw. Orlando hasn't been the worst team this year, but I'm gonna go with DC United.
Nice. Chino?
You're muted.
Shit,
sorry,
you're muted, brother.
It's all good. I was just thinking out loud at this point because I'm just staring at the records. I got to go Orlando City this game. They're going to secure I think that they're going to be able to secure the away win, and this is just going off of gut feeling.
Yeah, pretty solid. I agree. I'm going to also go with Orlando City here on this one. I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago too. I think they're better than what they have been performing, and then how they have been performing recently. They have very good players up top, and I think their attacking third is very good. DC United is a very strong team, but I think Orlando gets it done for this game. So give me Orlando. Going into the next one, Philadelphia Union versus St. Louis City. Very interesting matchup. Obviously, Philadelphia Union coming out super strong at the beginning of the season, but then losing this last week. And St. Louis just showing that these guys are nitty gritty, man. They are going to fight and they're going to do what they got to do to win any sort of game. I think this can really go either way. But I think the experience is going to kind of come out again. Give me Philadelphia over St. Louis. What do you think, Fern?
Now knowing that Roman Berkey is out, I have liked Philadelphia coming into the season, the way they've been playing. So I think I am going to go with the Philadelphia Union as well. But I also wouldn't be surprised if St. Louis wins this game. So
Okay.
Got
Chino?
another consensus here, fellas. I'm gonna have to go with Philadelphia Union. Same reasoning as Fern. I feel like while St. Louis City has been strong defensively, is it a streak? Is it just sheer talent? I guess we're about to find out. I'll be eating my words next week once we see how they perform. But I'm just feeling Philadelphia Union in this game.
Okay, perfect. Philadelphia is all around. Next game, Nashville versus Montreal. I don't think Montreal's been playing very, very good whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, they haven't even won a game.
0 wins.
Yeah, and I think we all went against Nashville. Did we all go against Nashville last week and we all lost on that one?
yeah, because they played Philadelphia, so we all win.
Yeah, so we all kind of rooted against them. So, I mean, I feel bad for Montreal, bro. They haven't really done anything crazy. So I'm going to give it to Nashville for this one. Chino, what do you think?
Going to give it to Montreal here. Tides will turn. I know that they haven't been playing very well. I believe in them more than I believe in Toronto. I'll tell you that much.
There you go. Fern?
I'm going to go Nashville. It seems like there's only one good Canadian team, and it's not Montreal or Toronto.
Yeah, I think I got to agree with you on that one. Okay, sweet. Next one, Sporting Kansas City versus LAFC. Two good teams at this point. I mean, LAFC has been looking strong, but this could probably go either way too. What do you think here, Chino?
I'm going for LAFC on this one. They're while they have been better in the past, right? They still have won 3 of their last 5 games. Sporting Kansas City has struggled recently, winning none of their last 5 games. So I guess I can't go against LAFC in this game.
Okay, Fern.
I'm gonna go with L. I want to go LAFC, but with the way that Sporting Kansas City kind of showed their firepower and their ability to stay in the game, like they just came back and won that game against Minnesota. I just feel like they have to, I don't know. It's kind of hard for me because I just feel like Sporting Kansas City is going to come in with that fire from the last game of just coming in and they didn't win, but they did get that draw after being down 3-0. So I am gonna go with Kansas City.
All right. While you were doing that, I was looking into kind of like what LAFC has on the slate in terms of fixtures, in terms of games coming up. They don't have to worry about the CONCACAF for another couple weeks, so I think they are the better team in this matchup. Plus, they don't really have to worry too much about a congested schedule. So I'm going to go with LAFC beating Kansas City. So going into the next one, Colorado versus Portland. Another one that's a little bit kind of interesting, but I think there's probably a clear winner here. Fern, what do you think on this one?
I am going to go with the Portland Timbers. I just feel like they are decent. They have the team to be able to win. They just haven't been playing the best, but I feel like they can do it this week.
Got it. Chino?
Keeping it simple, going with Fern on this one. Portland Timbers.
Oh, dude, I did not expect that. I thought we were all going to go Colorado. I'm going with Colorado. I don't trust Portland. Call me a hater, tell me what you want, but I just think Colorado's going to be a better team here. So I'm going to go with Colorado. Next one up, Real Salt Lake versus FC Dallas. I think this could be a very good game. It could go either way. I think FC Dallas, I think I've mentioned this before, they're a better team than what they have been so far. But I'm going to have to give it to, I believe it's a home game for Real Salt Lake, so I'm going to go with RSL on this one. What do you think, Fern?
I am also going to go with RSL. How it goes.
Yeah.
FC Dallas is pretty good. I'm going to go RSL. I have to.
There you go. Chino?
Call it bias, baby. I don't care. If you're listening to this podcast, I am going to go RSL again. And I think I did go against them once, but I got to give them the love that they deserve. They've been looking good recently. Let's keep the hot streak going, boys. RSL for the win.
There you go. Hell yeah, I love it. All right, next one up within the late window here, Seattle Sounders versus Houston Dynamo. I don't even need to say anything. I think Seattle Sounders for me on this one. Houston, you got to figure some stuff out. I'm going to go with Seattle. Chino?
Talked about them a little bit earlier. I really do like Seattle. Went against them last week, mostly from Fern's Roman Berkey call out, but I like Seattle. Just give me that one. Give me that.
Fern?
I am also going with the Sounders. I just feel like they have a really good team and they should be able to get it going past this Houston Dynamo team.
Yeah, for sure. All right, last game of the Saturday slot, Vancouver Whitecaps versus Chicago Fire. One team's been on fire, one probably hasn't been as much. Fern, what do you think going into this one?
You know what? I do like the Chicago Fire. I feel like this game should hopefully be a good game. If I had to pick one or the other, I'd probably pick Vancouver just because they've been rolling pretty well, and yeah, I'm gonna pick Vancouver, even though I could
injured.
see it. Yeah, it's a lot of injuries.
You seen this list right here?
Yeah.
Jeez, is this all for Chicago?
Yeah, that's all Chicago. The left side is Vancouver. So.
Jeez. So you're going with Chicago?
No. I'm going with Vancouver. Did I say Chicago? Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Vancouver Whitecaps and their $10 tickets.
There you go. Love it. I'm also gonna go Vancouver. I think they're a really good team. So give me Vancouver. Chino, round us out.
Vancouver.
There it is. There it is. Nice and easy pick. As we mentioned too, no Sunday night soccer really on this one. It's more Sunday evening soccer. So kind of interesting. Austin FC versus San Diego FC. San Diego obviously getting that primetime spot once again. Chino, what do you think going into this one?
Again, y'all know I do love me some Austin FC. I have been rooting for the underdogs secretly this season. San Diego FC, new kids on the block. Give me that.
You going with San Diego?
Yes, sir.
All righty. Fern?
Give me that. I'm just playing. I'm gonna go with Austin.
Oh, okay.
I feel like if you can beat LAFC, you should be able to beat San Diego. Although San Diego does not play bad, so but I am going to go with Austin.
Okay, there you go. I think going in, this one's going to be a little interesting here. Obviously, they still don't have Chucky Lozano. He's still out, but I still think San Diego's the better team here. Looks like they're going to be in Austin Q2 Stadium. That is in Texas, right? Yeah, that's in Texas. So it's going to be in Austin, but I think San Diego FC is a pretty good team. They've shown that they're a pretty good team without Chucky Lozano. So give me San Diego for that one to round us out. For week 5, solid picks there. Obviously, we're going to continue to maintain the leaderboard. We'll make sure that we kind of post on that as well. But that is it for episode number 5. Thank you all. Thanks everybody for joining in, for listening to our crazy conversations and our unbiased opinions. But thank you. Please continue to watch, subscribe, like, share everything that we do. We're going to keep doing this until we can't do this no more. But obviously, this is the Correct Soccer Podcast. Checking out. Peace out. Thank you all.
Guys. Please. Please.
Love it. See y'all. See you on the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.